What's up, people? Gene here. Welcome back to my channel. And on today's video, I have my boy Knowledge here. He's an entrepreneur. We're going to introduce him while we eat some good food. Today we have some Jamaican food. So guys, if you enjoyed this new series that I'm starting on this channel, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and go ahead and subscribe if you're new here to this channel. I would really appreciate it.
So what's going on, everybody? My name is Knowledge Suave. You can follow me on Instagram at Knowledge Suave, and yes, Knowledge is my real birth name. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been doing it for 12 years, since I was like in middle school, and now I'm starting to see like a lot more traction in my life. I have a couple of businesses. I first started off with candy stores on my school bus, and then I went all the way up to vending machines, and then doing a little finance firm, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
If you're wondering what's on that plate, for me, I have some jerk pork and some rice and peas and some sweet plantain.
Alright, for me, I got some rice and peas and plantain and some porridge. I'm a vegetarian now, so I can't eat my jerk chicken or escovitch fish, but yeah, I'm still gonna enjoy this.
For our first question, I'm going to ask you, why entrepreneurship? What made you first start in being an entrepreneur?
So for me, entrepreneurship was something that kind of came naturally. I wasn't trying to actively be an entrepreneur. It was just a calling. And then later on in life, I found out that I'm just like a fifth generation entrepreneur. So it was just in my blood. So it was just something that was always meant to be for me. Okay. But I started off with selling candy on a bus in about middle school. So I had a friend that he said we should get some candy and sell it to make some money. So he bought the candy from the dollar store, and then he would give it to me, and then I would go under the seats of the bus and then just like serve the candy to different people to make some money for like that. So it kind of came naturally, and then from there I just started doing more and more businesses.
You mentioned that you was fifth generation entrepreneur. Who in your family was an entrepreneur?
So it went back pretty far. So it was not only like my mom, grandma, uncle, grandfather, great-grandfather, and like great-grandmother. So it just kept going back when I was doing my research. So they had their own like food stores, and then another one had like a home care store, another one had like a little electronics store, grandfather had a clothing store and a restaurant. So just like everybody had their own businesses. And I never realized that until I became an entrepreneur myself. Okay.
Did you work for anybody else before you became an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I think my first job was at a library in college, and then after that I did Chick-fil-A, and then I worked in my field because in college my major was basically computer science. So I went into a computer science field while I was in college. And then after that, I worked at a property management firm. So I had like 4 or 5 jobs, and then after that, I was like, I'm good.
So you went to school anyway, you got your degree, everything.
Yeah, because it was never my plan to be an entrepreneur. Right? I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. It's not something that I was working towards. It just kind of happened, and then I just rolled with it.
So what made you say, okay, I'm done, that's it, I'm not working for nobody else no more? What was the turning point for you?
The big turning point for me was this one specific time. I remember the time too. It was the last job I ever had. It was a property management firm, and I was just doing work for them. And then I remember one morning I was just driving to work, and I was like, I really hate this. And then I was looking around at all my friends that were going to work and stuff like that, and I was like, I don't knock 9 to 5s at all, but I know for me, that is not the way to go. So I was like, man, I'm actually like real deal depressed from doing this. Like, this is extremely depressing for me. And I called my mom, and I was like, I'd rather be dead than to go to work right now. I was driving to work.
It was that extreme?
Yeah, bro. It was literally that extreme. So I was just like, I'd literally rather be dead than to be going to work right now. And then I remember I drove there, and I was like, nah. And I just cleared it. I didn't call them. I didn't put in 2 weeks notice. I didn't do anything. Nah, bro. I was literally fed up. I was literally fed up. So that's why I said like entrepreneurship saved my life. Because if there wasn't another way, like if I had to do a 9 to 5, for me, I was like, I can't do this, man. Because especially when I was going to work and I was calculating how much I make a week, and I'm like, man, I could just do this by myself. I was doing the math. I was like, I could make all this money by myself.
From the time you quit to the time that you started your own business? Like, how long did that take? Like, did you have anything planned in mind? Like, what you would do? Because that's extreme to say, man, I'm not coming here no more.
Yeah.
I know they pay me a little, but what about your bills? You didn't think about anything like that?
I did, but I was like, man, I'd rather figure it out. So I literally told myself I'd rather struggle and make like $20,000 a year for myself than make $50,000 a year working for somebody. And that's when it becomes like it has to be a you thing. Like, you actually have to want to do entrepreneurship because it's not fun and it's hard. But it took me I was always doing it on the side. So at that time when I left, I still threw parties on the side. So I knew I was going to have a source of income coming in from somewhere. So I already had money coming in from then. At that point, it was just a matter of me compounding and creating more businesses to make more money. To at least cover bills.
With partying. You started planning parties. Okay. And then after that, what did you go into?
Parties, and then I went into websites is something I've always done since high school. So I always used to fall back on websites if people needed it. I was really good at just knocking them out. That was another thing. And then I also had a woman's fitness store. So I opened up an online women's. Yeah, I did a lot of stuff. Online women's fitness store, and that was paying the rent for some time. That was through drop shipping. I used to drop ship. And then I opened up a smoke shop around that time too, if I'm not mistaken. And I was doing that. And then I opened up a vending machine company, and then I opened up a financial firm. So like taxes, and then like
you had everything, man.
Yeah, that's what I tell people. Yeah, and while I was jumping around, I was learning new things that I didn't want to do. So like say, for example, I love the drop shipping, I love the online selling and stuff, but I was like, all right, this takes too much work. I know there has to be an easier way to make money doing less amount of work. So that's why I went to different businesses to see what fit my personality.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing the drop shipping. I'm not sure if it's really dead right now, because I see like, it used to be more popular, right, with the drop shipping. So doing all those businesses, did you ever had a time where you was like, man, I'm going back to my job, like I'm going back to work for people because this seems too hard or anything like that?
Yeah, I had like a small moment. A small moment when I was just like, man, am I doing the right thing? Because at that time, I came out of school. All right, so I have to backtrack a little bit. So when I did graduate, straight out the gate, I got 3 job offers. I never talked about this part. But straight out the gate of college, I got 3 job offers, and one of them was to my dream job. And it was gonna be like $50,000 right out the gate. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna do entrepreneurship. So you could already know my family was like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? So sometimes when I was down, I was like, man, maybe I could just get a job right now. I got a good major.
What was your major?
Information systems, computer science, basically.
Oh, okay.
Computer science.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So I knew I could get a job like that, but I was like, nah, man, it's not worth it. It wasn't worth it for me. I was like, I'll just figure it out.
What advice would you give someone that wants to get into entrepreneurship but don't know where to start, or is scared to get into it because they like that stability? Because entrepreneurship, you don't have that stability when you first start, at least.
The advice that I would personally give them is, if you're gonna do it, just go all out. Because if you halfway do it, it's gonna take you a lot longer. So if you're gonna dive in, just dive in. Just make sure you have your savings and you can cover your bills for at least 6 months.
Okay. That's what you did?
No, that's not what I did. But like I said, I'm an extreme case.
They always say that entrepreneurs, like, just jump off the plane, then you'll build
on the plane on the way down.
Yeah, on the way down.
So, that's exactly what I did.
So that's I guess that advice is true, because that's what you did. Having all those businesses right now. So when you first started getting into all those businesses, did you pinpoint it down to one thing, or are you still doing all those businesses?
No, I still have all of them. Excuse me. The only thing that I do differently is I make sure that I'm focused on more so virtual businesses and not brick and mortar businesses. Because personally, what brings me happiness is being able to travel and just leave whenever I want to. And with certain businesses, I know that I'm not able to do that if they're like brick and mortar and I have to be there. So as long as they're online businesses and I know I can maintain it and come up with a system, then I'm able to move from one business to the next. But I don't move on to the next business without creating a system in which it can run itself first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have people working for you? Like how do you manage them?
I have a team. So usually when I go into business, I try my best not to go into it alone. Or if I do go into it alone, I would eventually get partners and say, okay, I'm going to manage this, this, and this.
Yeah.
You manage this, and you manage this.
Okay.
So I'll break it apart like that. And I do have a team, especially with the tax business. I do have a tax code team, and we all just pitch in and play our part.
Is that seasonal with the tax or yearly?
Taxes is yearly, but the most lucrative point is that first like 4 months of the year, really.
Okay. So when that first 4 months, beginning of the year, you focus on that mostly.
So I would split it up. First, I would focus on taxes, then I'll do vending, and then it's always bracketed like that sometimes.
Having your own businesses compared to the job that you was working at, what's your hours like? What's the hours that you working for
Now,
yourself? Yeah.
If I'm being like, hey, this exact moment, I work like 2 days out the month compared to, yeah.
When you first started, how was it?
Oh, no. When I first started, I'm doing like, I don't know, like 17 hours a day. Majority of the time, I'll be in my room studying, formulating the business, but you gotta put a whole bunch of hours in. So when you hear other entrepreneurs say like, yeah, I'm gonna work 1 day out of the month. Oh yeah, I live passive. I live off passive income. There's a lot that you have to do to get to that point. It's not just, they didn't just do that. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
Like, what advice would you give to someone to, as far as the work ethic? Like, what does it have to be built in you? Like, how do you put yourself like as a self-starter, because you know you building this empire for yourself?
You gotta think about where you want to be. Like, think about like, at the end of the day, I want to be this, and this person. In order to be that person, I have to do this.
Yeah.
So I kind of like reverse engineer is what I always say. So I know that I want to be this great person.
Yeah.
And then there's steps to becoming that great person, and that kind of motivates you and gives you the drive to continue working towards being your future self.
Okay. Do you like write any goals down?
Yeah.
Like daily or
Have to.
yearly?
I usually plan my things out like, it's about 10 years ahead. So I plan about like, the next 10
years.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah. 10 years, and then at very least, I have a frequent updated goal list for like 2 years. Well, 2 to 3 years. But daily, I don't write the goals. I just write more so like to-dos. And then I always look at the goals and make sure that I'm doing the things to get to that goal, if that makes sense.
Like, at what age did you first leave you left your job? What age were you?
Job 19? No, 19 or 20.
So as a 19 or 20-year-old, because I know like it's hard. Like a typical 19-year-old, they're not worrying about starting a business. They're worrying about like more partying and doing this, chasing girls and stuff like that. So how did you self-discipline yourself at that young age to remain focused?
I didn't have a choice. I guess that's one thing that I had as a benefit on my side. I didn't have a choice because most of my friends and stuff, their people, their parents and their family live in the same state. So I came to America by myself. The only person that I had here that was close was my uncle, and he used to stay in Miami. So in my mind, it's like, okay, if I flunk out of school right now, I don't have anywhere to live, so I can't play around like everybody else can. So if I'm gonna do parties and stuff like this, if I'm gonna be a party goer, I might as well be the party thrower. So that way I can be at the party and I'm still making money to pay. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was the position that I was in forced me to do what I had to do.
So when you mentioned that when you first moved down here, so where are you from and what age did you come down here?
The Middle East. So my entire family is Jamaican, but then we moved to the Middle East. My mom was an administrator. She was a teacher and then got moved to administrator, and then we just stayed in Dubai throughout like my latter half of high school. And then I came to FAU to attend school.
By yourself or?
Yeah, I definitely came by myself.
Like why did you want to leave all of Dubai and come down here by yourself with nobody? You see, we going back to the entrepreneur part. He jumped off the plane.
Yeah.
And he started building. So why did you wanted to leave Dubai and come here by yourself?
So honestly, The first thing, okay, so in Dubai, the name of the country is United Arab Emirates. And when I was applying for college, originally I was going to go to school to be a plastic surgeon. So I was going to go to a med school in Qatar. I was going to go to Cornell. But then while I was filling out the application, I was like, man, this application is long.
Yeah.
So then I was like, okay, let me find some schools in Florida, because it's close to Miami, and at that time I wanted to be a I was still a YouTuber back then, but I wanted to do voice acting and modeling on the side as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, okay, let me find a school in Florida, and let me find something that's close to the water. And then FAU popped up. I was like, I'll just go there. Yeah. And that's how it ended up.
Wow.
Yeah. Wasn't any like big story.
Okay, so now as an entrepreneur, right? I know you, especially when you first started, how was it dealing with families and friends? Say if they wanted to do something, but you have to put that off. People coming to you asking for money and stuff like that. So how was it putting those type of things off? Like, was it hard for you? How to deal with families and friends when you starting to be an entrepreneur?
When you starting to be an entrepreneur, it's horrible. Especially when you have educated friends and everybody's graduating college, going into their careers.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was graduating, everybody's going to their job, and then I got a job and I turned it down. So everybody's like, what are you doing over there? So I'm like, no, I'm just going to be an entrepreneur. So explain that to your family is kind of like hard. I had one person that was really, really pushing for me, and that was my uncle. Shout out to him. He was like, just do this entrepreneurship route. It's going to take longer, it's going to be harder, but he just kept telling me to just do it. But I'm trying to explain.
It's good to have somebody like that in your corner.
That's all I needed. I just needed one person to tell me I'm not crazy. So he definitely helped give me the confidence to be like, all right, let me just go ahead and do this. And then during that time, he was like a support too. So anytime I was feeling like, man, maybe I should just go ahead and get a job, I'll call him up. He's like, no.
Is he an entrepreneur too?
He's an entrepreneur, and he's actually in the computer science field as well. Okay. So he was the one that was like, just stick to entrepreneurship. I'm already in this field. Do this. So he was a really good guidance to keep me doing what I was doing. And
that's real important also. Say if you're going to school for, a psychologist or a lawyer, one of the best advice I got is to shadow that person, because you're gonna be in their shoes. Shadow them, see how they're doing at their job, how they're doing with their family. If that person is miserable, and because that's gonna be you. You're gonna be that psychologist. You're gonna be that lawyer. So that's a good thing that you spoke to your uncle, and he was in the same field that you were pursuing. He's seen what's going on. Like,
he already know what it is.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want this for you. So that's a really good advice that he would give you.
Oh yeah. And I was also blessed to have the opportunity to work in my field in college. So while I was doing these computer science jobs, I was just like, okay, the money is good, but this is extremely boring. And I would get home with a good paycheck, but I'd be extremely tired even though I didn't do anything at work. I'm like, I didn't do anything at work. Why am I tired right now? Go to sleep, wake up, repeat.
Same thing. Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
That part can get boring. Like right now, I'm still working a 9 to 5, as you would call it. It's not really 9 to 5, but you would call it a 9 to 5. I like my job, but at the same time, that freedom, that's what I'm always pursuing. To have that wealth, build that wealth for my family, and build that financial freedom where you can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, and not have to worry about money in that aspect. Okay, so when you first started your businesses, how did you raise funding for your business? If somebody is out here trying to become an entrepreneur, they don't know where they're gonna get their fund, how would somebody start?
There's always a way to find a way to get some money. Even if you need a little bit of seed money, you can hustle it up somehow. Because I'm pretty sure someone said, if you give me $5,000 by the end of this week, I'll give you $1 million. You're gonna find a way to get that $5,000. So I was just like, all I need is like $100-300. For example, when I started the drop shipping, I think all I needed was $300 at that time. And then I was like, okay, let me just start saving, and money just comes in somehow. The problem is when you start spending the money on useless stuff like fast food.
That can be crazy.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of keeping that money and having a plan with it once you do get it.
Okay. And you mentioned the drop shipping. Did you have to study?
Oh my gosh, yeah, I studied a lot. Drop shipping was one of the most time heavy things that I've done, because there was a lot of studying on YouTube, looking for courses, trying to buy courses. and then just learning the game in and out so I can get money as fast as possible because I got to pay rent with that same money.
YouTube is a good teacher, guys. So if you want to be good at your craft, YouTube is the way to go. They have a library of everything to give you a lot of experiences. I have a link if you're trying to get a free stock with Robinhood. I have the link in the description down below. So go ahead and get your free stock. If you're looking to be an investor also, you can go ahead and be an investor. So guys, please go ahead and thumbs up this video. If it's adding value to you, I would appreciate it. How do you combat the fear of, man, what if I lose it all? Like, will I lose it all? Like, how do you combat that fear? Because I know there's a lot of people that want to be an entrepreneur, but they're thinking like, man, what if I start a business, then I lose it? How do I get back? You ever had that thought?
Yeah, I used to have that thought until I've lost it all a lot of times. And then that fear goes away.
Okay.
Because after it happens a couple of times, it's like, okay, I know what's going to happen when I lose it all. And now I know how not to lose it all. And then when you become consistent with your entrepreneurship and you become a self-made entrepreneur, you can literally lose everything tomorrow and then build it back up.
Yeah, I always hear that. I always hear that. If you build it the first time, like you already have the experience, so it's hard to hear.
It's a lot faster to build it up.
Yeah, so guys, if you start looking to become an entrepreneur, just go through the process, you know. If you're comfortable with it, like he said, it's not easy at first, but it gets better, it gets easier. Okay, for our last question, what has been the most satisfying moment for you as an entrepreneur? The aha moment.
The aha moment, well, one of the most recent aha moments is when I made how much I would have made in a year in entrepreneurship in like 2 days.
What?
Yeah, what I would have made through my regular job if I would have stayed in computer science, I made that in like 2 days. And I was like, wow.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You're like, man, I did say it right.
Yep.
So that's good. Guys, this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Where can people find you and your information if they want to pick your brain some more?
If you want to reach out to me, you can go ahead and follow me on Instagram at Knowledge Suave, and I also occasionally tweet, so you can follow me at Knowledge Suave on Twitter as well. I'd love to speak to you guys. Just go ahead and DM me.
And you have a YouTube channel too, right?
I do. If you like K-pop by any chance, you can go ahead and follow my YouTube channel at Shanti DA Goat.
Okay. On there you do reaction videos and stuff?
Reaction videos, vlogs, and just the opposite of my business life is on that channel. So if you'd like to see what I do in my day-to-day activities, you can check me out on YouTube.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate you. I thank you for watching. Until next time, please be safe, be healthy. Peace be with you.
See you guys later.